everyone! So today we're here at Millar Enchanted, as this is where we will be discussing about the text information in media and visual information and media. I am Ivy Shane Africa, and starting with the code, if you're in social media and not laughing, not being inspired, or not even networking, then you're probably using it wrong. Let's go and learn more about text information and visual information and media. Let's go! So text information and media is a non-fiction writing, written with the intention to inform the reader about a specific topic. It is typically found in magazines, science books, history books, autobiographies, and even on instruction manuals. Carefully examine the following pictures. You can see that there are improper use of language, confusing structures, and wrong spelling. Text provides the basic information of what a person wants to convey to others to avoid confusion and misinterpretation. Ang message ba nga na-receive sa imong audience right and properly made? Are the emotions and feelings that your audience has received about your text right? And is that what you really want them to feel? We have been using the word text ever since, but what is text? Text is a simple and flexible format of presenting information or conveying ideas, whether handwritten, printed, or displayed on screen. Basically, a text is a combination of letters. Now, text can be used as visuals. Text is one of the easiest way of communicating to your audience. If dili ka kamo mo draw or even produce images, then you can simply make a text or send your message through what? Through typefaces. Typefaces is a representation or style of text in digital format. So there are different typefaces, and each typeface is used for different purpose, since they send a specific message or mood. First is the serif. Serif connotes formality and readability in large amount of text, usually used for the body text of books, newspapers, magazines, and research publications. A serif gives a classic and elegant look for titles and headings. Examples of a serif are Times New Roman, Garamond, Baskerville. Serif signifies formality. Serif has lines on its edges. Sans serif brings a clean, minimalist look at the text. It is used for clear and direct meaning of text such as road signage, building directory, or nutrition facts in food packages. So sans serif gives a modern look, and it is primarily used in web designs. Example of sans serif would be Arial, Tahoma, Verdana, and Calibre. Technically, sans serif is the opposite of serif. In serif, it has line on its edges, but in sans serif, it doesn't have one. Third typeface is the slab serif. It carries a solid or heavy look to the text. Can be used for large advertising sign on billboards. Example of slab serif would be Rockwell and Playbill. The slab serif gives more impact to the audience, yet classic and still formal. Next is the script. Script draws much attention because of its brush-like strokes. Must be used sparingly and not be used in large body text. So script is basically used in wedding invitations or any formal events. Example of script is Edwardian script, monotype, Lucida handwriting. So script is used on the heading type only. Don't use script typeface in the body text in newspapers or magazines because it is not readable. So if you want to look classy yet formal with a hint of elegance, use script typeface.
Lastly, we have decorative. Decorative caters to a wide variety of emotions or themes. Examples are girls and tea, rosewood, Zuckerman, and Taylor. Once again, all of these typefaces vary in their purposes for whatever emotion you want to convey or amplify. If you are choosing what typeface to use, make sure that it represents the message you want to send.
Now, what are the textual design elements and principle of text information and media? First is emphasis. Emphasis is the importance or value given to a part of the text-based content. How do we give importance to a certain part of text-based content? By making a text bold, make it larger to provide a different color. How your audience will receive the information would be based on how you produce or you give emphasis on the text. Next is appropriateness. Appropriateness is how fitting or suitable the text is used to a specific audience. For example, what you want to convey is the feeling of fear and you have used the chiller face type. That's not how it works. In appropriateness, this is also where we use a specific color to be used. For example, this is a sad story but you have used a chilly front and the color is pink. Will your audience receive it has a sad story or not? Third, design principles is proximity. Proximity, it is how near or far the text elements are from each other. This design principle is very important because it is where you can tell if the story still has a continuation or not. Next is alignment. Alignment is how the text is positioned in a page such as left, centered, or justified. Next, we have organization. Organization means conscious effort to organize the different text elements in a page. Sixth is repetition. Repetition is the consistency of elements or unity of the entire design. In choosing the typeface to be used in a text, it should be consistent. When several face types are used in the page, it might distract the audience and fail to communicate what you want them to understand. Lastly, we have contrast. Contrast, it creates visual interest having two elements that are different from each other. If you are using a dark color text, then your background should be light. And if you're using a light text color, then your background should be dark. The different design elements and principles of text information and media are: first is emphasis, appropriate. Third is proximity. Fourth is alignment, organization. Sixth is repetition. And lastly, we have contrast.
Visual information and media. So the next lesson to be discussed is all about visual information media. When we say visual, it is anything that we can see. It can either be with or without sound. So basically, a visual information is anything that makita na sa ating mata. So, visual information is the artistic or creative representation or interpretation of an idea, concept, or emotion using different media. It is created by the painters, photographers, graphic artists, or designers, and sculpture among the others. So, visual information is any content na makita na to na represent or interpret an idea or a concept. There are different types of visual information, and this uses various medium and appeals to various audience dependent to message na ganahan ipasabot sa artist or ang iyahang ganahan na makita or masabot sa audience. So this time we will be discussing about infographics. Infographics is a combination of two words, information and graphics. Infographics is a form of a visual communication meant to capture attention and enhance comprehension. It includes data, information, or knowledge intended to present information quickly and clearly. In our generation today, na mas short ang attention span na to, mas dali jud na ma-digest og information without infographic kay dili na ta magbasa og taas na message. Pero sa chat with crush, bisan pag mabuntagay with long messenger chat, so unsaon man nato pagka sigurado na sakto ang ato ang paggama og visual information. We have a visual design element and principle. So a visual design needs to have these elements: shape, value, texture, color, and form.
So what are the principles in creating visual information? First is consistency. Dapat jud consistent. Dili pareho sa ka-talking stage ninyo na sa una lang masaya. Dapat consistent jud. Ay mo pailan. Consistency of margins, typeface, type style, and color is necessary, especially in slide presentation or documents that are more than one page. Pag dili consistent ang visual information na gi-present basin malahi nilag sabot or lain ilahang idea. As much as possible, just use a maximum of 3 typefaces around 2 to 3 colors only in making a visual content. Second is center of interest. It is an area that first attracts attention in a composition. This area is more important compared to the other objects or elements in a composition. Inagkita pagganit nila sa visual content kay baw na sila og asa dapit ang pinaka-importante na part or asa ba dapit mag-focus or unsa ang main message sa visual content. Next is balance. Balance is a feeling of visual equality in shape, form, volume, color, etc. Balance can be symmetrical and evenly balanced or symmetrical and unevenly balanced. Fourth is harmony. Harmony brings together a composition with similar units. If, for examples, your composition was using wavy lines and organic shapes, you would stay with those types of lines and not just put in just one geometric shape. Fifth is contrast. Contrast offers some change in value, creating a visual discord in composition. Contrast shows the difference between shapes and can be used as a background to bring objects out and forward in a design. It can also be used to create an area of emphasis.
Compared to harmony, diba sa harmony dapat pare-parehoraan sinunara ang units na ginagamit nimo. But if you want to emphasize a certain subject na visual content that you should make use of contrast para ma-center sila sa interest sa audience nimo. It is used to highlight the important part where you want your audience to focus on.
Next is the directional movement. Directional movement is a visual flow through the composition. It can be the suggestion of motion in a design as you can move an object in the way of placement and position. Next, we have rhythm. It is a movement in which some elements occur regularly, like dance. It will have a flow of objects that will seem to be the rhythm of music.
And lastly, we have a perspective. Perspective is created through the arrangement of objects into the dimensional space to look like they appear in real life. Perspective is learned meaning of relationship between the different objects seen in space. The next, we have common visual media file type. First is the JPEG. JPEG stands for Joint Photographic Experts. JPEG files are images that have been compressed to store a lot of information in a small size file. Kadalasan sa digital camera kay nag-store of photos in JPEG format kay mas daghan man ang photos na makuha than the other formats.
Second is the TIFF, also known as TIF. TIFF stands for Tag Image File Format. TIFF images create very large file sizes. TIFF images are uncompressed and thus contain a lot of detailed image data. That is why files are so big. The TIFF is also flexible in terms of color, so kini siya is mako jud og file size kay nice man sad ang image kay very detailed and it is not compressed at all.
Okay.
Third is the GIF. GIF stands for Graphic Interchange Format. This format compresses images but as different from JPEG. The compression is lossless as no detail is lost in the compression but the file can be made as small as a JPEG. So sa GIF, i-compress ang image pero hindi ka-compress, dili man maunsa ang image but in terms of color range, limited na ang kaya sa GIF. This kind of format is never used in photography but it can be used in animations. Fourth one is the PNG, which stands for Portable Network Graphics. It was created as an open format to replace GIF. It allows for a full range of color and better compression. It is exclusively used for wave images. The last one is the BMP file, short for the word bitmap. It can be pronounced as BAM, BMP, or simply a bitmap image. This format is commonly used as a raster graphic format for saving image files. Ang mga image data sa BMP are usually uncompressed or compressed with a lossless compression.
So that's it, guys. The text information and media, and the visual information and media.
I hope you have learned something today and you have grasped the basics of producing text and visual information in media. Unta, gamitin ninyo ang inyong knowledge na nagain into something more relevant and beneficial into our society. So, mao na ta! Keep safe, guys! Have a nice